Good morning. Day one of practice here on Smith Lake. Actually, I think it's called Lewis Smith Lake in Coleman, Alabama. This would be my second time here. I fished here in 2018. I'm actually staying here right at the campground and just launching right here at the park. This is actually where the tournament's out of. And I think we were allowed to be on the water about, I'm gonna say what, 15 minutes ago. We can be on the water 15 minutes prior to official sunrise. But it's like, it's saying it's 28 right now, so I'm not in a just giant hurry to get out there, especially in the early spring. It seems like the fish definitely, as the day warms up, they get a little bit more active. Not to say that you couldn't catch one right now, but it's kind of what I'm doing right now. I mean, I would have liked to have been out there right at official time that you can leave the boat ramp, but it didn't work out like that. But not too far behind. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning back into my YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys can see me here. Got a partly gravel, partly paved road here in the campground. I fished here again in 2018 when it was the FLW Tour, and now it's the MLF Big 5 Pro Circuit. Second stop, here we go. It's cold. Water temperature saying is 47 right here, which is probably right. I mean, a couple nights lows in the 30s, but the highs have been in the low 60s. So it's probably warming up substantially during the day, but the core temperature of the water is probably staying pretty low. So it warms up in the day, but the core, like below 5 feet, is probably still pretty cold. So surface temp's probably warming up nice, but here we go. Smith Lake is a highland impoundment filled with a lot of clear water. Rocky type banks, bluff type banks, steeper banks, and lots of docks. It's filled with spotted bass, and that's a typical strategy for most pros, is to go after the plentiful spotted bass that are in the lake that actually can get really, really big. 4 and 5 pounders are not that uncommon. However, the largemouth do live in the lake and they can also be targeted, but they're not as plentiful as the spots. Here's a keeper. .5 inches. They got to be 15 inches or bigger for spots and largemouth on this lake. I caught a couple earlier on a swim bait on the Striking Rage swimmer, and lost a good one, but that's the first keeper bass I've had of the day. It's 10 o'clock, a slow start, cold this morning, but I'm pretty happy that I just got that bite. I want to be able to catch them on jigs on docks, and so to catch one on a little finesse jig under a dock, really nice.
Got to be some fish in here because I just caught that one, and then just caught this little one. So a couple bites, pretty quick. So I'm moving probably halfway inside this creek. Sorry I didn't run a camera earlier on those swim bait fish. Just it was early in the morning, hadn't set it up yet. And so starting to get onto something here. That's pretty good. It's 1:30, so I thought I'd do a midday report. It's not been easy. It's not been easy to get bites. It's so slick calm. The conditions being really flat like this, just, I don't know, it just seems like fish are either tight to the bottom, the ones that I have been catching around the docks. I finally caught one away from a dock. I had a bite in the other little creek in the back there, but I wasn't able to get him. Got that little guy on a bladed jig. Just running more and more water, trying to see more and more of the lake. Water temperature is all the way up to 59 in this area. I thought something was wrong with my temp gauge, but it's not. It's 59, so that's a really good sign. It's just supposed to get warmer throughout the event. One more cold night tonight, and then it starts to get, you know, warmer and warmer progressively throughout the event. So that's a really good thing. I think these fish are coming up. It's just a matter of how much of this warm surface temp is going to get down to the deeper fish. But just keep running new water and trying different things. I've got so many different rods out. I'm cranking jerk baits, spinner baits, shaky heads. Do I have a shaky head? Ned rig. I mean, I've got a lot of different things, and wacky rig and bladed jig and a couple different jigs, and a swim bait. So I got all my bases covered.
So important to cover a lot of water in big reservoirs like this all across the country. It always seems like there's a hot zone or two or three, and you've got to kind of find that place. A lot of the other parts of the lake are just pretty much slow or nothing's going on, but you get into one of those areas and the fish are biting and you know it pretty quick. So that's what I'm in search of.
Glad we got 2 days of practice on these MLF Big 5 events, and glad I got one more day. Good morning. Day 2 of practice. What an ordeal this morning's been. I've driven all over this backcountry of Alabama around Smith Lake here, and just been on a wild goose chase trying to get to a boat ramp that I believed was there, and it was actually just, you maybe could launch some kayaks and canoes and maybe a flat bottom, but that was it. So I probably spent probably an hour and 20 minutes just driving all over the place. Finally just came to a marina down here. Cost $10 to launch, which is kind of reminiscent of California days. But anyways, got the boat in the water, and I'm on the far west end of the lake and just looking at some new stuff. I'd like to kind of build on what I found yesterday over on that section of the lake, but at the same time, I don't think that's the stuff that wins. So today I'm looking for something that could possibly get me a top 10 or a win. So here we are. It is 7:25 and gonna run up the lake and look at some water that has some color to it. See if there's some largemouth or spotted bass that are associated to cover and or docks. So here we go. Day 2, MLF Big 5 Pro Circuit on Smith Lake. That's a good sign. Not quite big enough though. Might be a keeper. He's a keeper, but not by much. Well, it's 2 o'clock. It's past midday report, but it's even tougher today than yesterday. I don't know if it's just because I'm on a totally different section of the lake, and that the places where there's a little bit more fish activity, more on the east side. Maybe that's just the reason I got more bites yesterday, or the conditions. The conditions are pretty much the same, but we got cloud cover today. I've been running a lot of stuff, looking for something different, something that hopefully I can get some sort of consistency. There's not a lot of consistency. It's kind of one-twosie, not getting a lot of bites. Hoping at this point to kind of just unlock a key, catch a fish that might kind of tell the tale on exactly what I need to do. But at the same time, if I don't, I'm hoping that what I figured out yesterday might actually be better than Okay, so I loaded up and left the Sipsey River arm and came back over to Takeoff, which is over in the Ryan arm. I'm gonna try to kind of expand what I found the first day and maybe even just find something totally different. Don't have a lot of time left, like 2.5 hours, but gonna try to make the best of it.
see what we can find. That's it. Practice is complete. Tough day. Gonna have to make some decisions on the water and do a little practicing even on the first day of the tournament. I think things are gonna change. It's gonna continue to warm, but we're gonna have to see. Gonna have to stay fancy free and footloose. That's it for practice. Thanks for tuning into the YouTube channel.